We have seen how we have ordered all the blacks, and you can see the banner. We can remove those because whenever you see the emulator, see it is pretty good ready. You can see age, you can see the hint over there, siblings or spouse, hint over there, parents or children, hint, fair, hint, male or female, hint. You can see whatever the suggestion you are getting over here, you can see all of them. If you are having more number of inputs, you cannot see the output over there. In mobile phone you can see, but in emulator you cannot see. You can remove those banners when you click on this. You can see the screen name. Just let's go with this. So this is about the designing part. When this is done, we are good to go for adding the blocks, right? So in these blocks you are having this, whatever the boiler code I gave you, you can see this entire information is already present over there. Our task is to make all the functionalities ready, because here in designer, whenever we give inputs, whenever click on predict, it should give the output, right? So we need to give those functionalities in the blocks. So first one is initialize global predict API, where you try to give your public URL running continuously. So copy the URL and paste it in the predict API function, right? So this is the simple step where you need to run for every model. Once this is done, it will fetch the data, where you can change this any name. I gave predict API, you can give any name for it, because whenever you click on predict function, you should see the output, right? Whenever you are giving input, you should take the functionalities, right? So the next step is you should give the predict. You should click on the predict function. When click on predict, you should get the output, but before that you need to add some procedures. So what is the procedure here? You can clearly see you should give all these inputs, right? That's where when you click on procedure, you can go for to do procedure. So in to do procedure, what is your step? A procedure that does not return a value. You can click on the setting symbol. You need to add your inputs. Input 1, input 2, because you are having 7 inputs, add 7 blocks. So once these procedures are added, you can make them to your predict function, because this is simple drag and drop. So once this is added, right? Once these are added, when you can click on procedure, you can have this call procedure. Give the call procedure to the predict function, right? So then you can place this above and below, because you are giving functionality so that it should fetch the data. So don't worry about the warnings. You have called the procedure, you have initialized all the procedures, and you have clicked procedures and you have called the procedures here. Then you need to name them, right? What are the individual names? You go to your left side. What is the first input? Age. Click on age text, because the remaining things are visible and width ratios from the screen. You can click on adding age text, because that's a text. Siblings, add everything siblings. Even though that is a numeric, we are adding all those text fields to give the functionality. So parents or children, you add the same thing. Fair, you add it as text. Then gender, add it as text. Then P class, add it as text. You just drag and place it in the blocks. If you are good at video games, then this becomes pretty good, simple for you. That's how we have given functionalities. Whatever the inputs we have given for predict function, we give all our inputs, right? Then what is the next step? We need to fetch the data, right? You need to fetch the data, right? So whenever you give all the inputs, it should fetch the data. So for that, click on web fetch. So in web fetch, you are having multiple functionalities. You can go for set web fetch URL to. You can see this plugin. I mean, not a plugin generally. You can click and you can paste it here. When you get some sound, tick sound, right? So then what you need to do, you can click on, if you click on settings, you are having multiple inputs, right? You can add those inputs. but how you'll be adding them? You have added 7 inputs. Here 7 inputs are ready. Then you can go for your text block. Sorry, not the text block. Text block. You can click on join methods here. Because we are fetching the data, we are joining all the inputs. See, you can see the suggestion over there. URL is fetching the data. When you click on settings, you are having all the strings. So here, how many strings we need to add here? So here our 7 inputs. So 7 inputs. So 7 plus 7, 14, and 14 plus 1, 15. So 15 blocks should be added to as the strings, because how many number of inputs, that many number of strings. I mean 7 inputs, but in the middle we are having slashes, and for that slash also +1, and the other thing is for your ngrok input, right? So let's go for it. Click on settings, add 15 strings here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it may go down. Just scroll this thing to bottom and you can see the suggestion. You can drag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 are added. So more 5 to be added. 11, 12, 13, 14. Anywhere we just fill them, right? So this is how we are taking the data. What is the first one? You need to make sure we get the data. So how do I get the data? Variables. So get global predict API, right? So once that is done, you can click on duplicates. Click on what is the input here? X, because X is mapping here. You can click on duplicates for all the remaining stuff, but X, X2, duplicate X3. I'm giving it alternatively, because in the middle you need to have slashes, right? So for slashes we'll go for the adding the text block. X4, duplicate X5, duplicate X6, duplicate X7, right? Our 7 inputs are ready. If you can minimize the screen, you can minimize it. So in the middle, you need to give slashes, right? So how can you get it? You can go for the empty one and you can add the slashes. So this one should match with the global predict API. It should match with the above thing, right? So that it should fetch the data. So in the middle, you need to add slashes. So duplicate them. Duplicate, add, duplicate, add, duplicate, add, duplicate, add slashes, duplicate, add slash, duplicate, add the slash. So that is how you have fetched the data and you have joined, and in the click on text, so you have joined all these things, you got the data. So once this is done, we need to call the web fetch. So again click on web fetch. You just click on call web fetch get information. So this is the finished block. So once this is done, so we are good to go, because we gave all the inputs. We are fetching the data. We are joining all the URLs, whatever we gave in the input, and finally we are calling the data. But we need to store the result, right? So for storing the result, just drag to your right side. You are having another big block which I gave in the boilerplate, and just replace in the start tag whatever the result you have given. Replace the entire thing in the, copy the entire string and replace it in the start tag, because this will fetch the result to your predict function, right? So let us go for it. Let's enter the values. So let's enter, what are the values shall we enter? We enter the same values which we gave here. So 38. Let's enter, let's click on 38 siblings, 1 parents or children, 0, that means no parents or children. Fair, how much we gave? 71.2833. You are getting some display options, right? So click on 71.2833. You can give any values. This is male, right? You click on M, done. Then which class is they are traveling? So sorry, that is female, not male. So click on F. Same, how you touch your keyboard, you can have all the functionalities here. Which class they are traveling? First class. So first class, done. So finally, which place they are traveling from? They are traveling from the place which is Chebok, right? So that is the place. So you write Chebourgh. Done. So let's see, these are the inputs which we gave. Yep. So we are good to go. Let's click on predict. We got the output as result survived. Hola, you got the output. See, you gave the entire result, and what is the result you are seeing here? You got the same result on the output screen. So that's how you have built a simple mobile application for your machine learning model. You gave all your inputs and you click on predict, you can see the result as survived. So that is the reason we gave these simple steps. The simple steps are, I am repeating once again, you can first fetch the URL from the ngrok server, then you can click on the predict function, and you can call the procedures. Before calling procedures, you need to add the procedure, add all the inputs, then call the procedures, then join the URL data. So get global data and all the inputs. So how many inputs? Those many number of slashes. So double it, and the one is ngrok URL. So finally, you call the web fetch data. So once you fetch the web data, you need to add the result tag, because we are giving each and every functionality for our inputs. So that is the reason you are trying to give here in result tag, we gave the output as result. So however you give the response, the same way you can give the result tag here. So that is how we have built a simple mobile application for our machine learning model. And even the same thing you can see in your mobile phone by going for designer, you can connect on, you need to reset the connection because already my app is running. I cannot make changes here. You can go for another values and change them, and you can also download the same as APK file. So it is compiling, you can get the .apk file, and you can transfer it to your mail, to your mobile phone, and you can install it. You can enter all these values and you can see the same output on your mobile phone as .apk file. So that's how we have converted see that the APK file will be saved in the download folder. That's how we have converted our simple machine learning model with all the steps which we have done into a machine learning to a mobile application. See, you got .apk file. So that's how machine learning to mobile application. .ipynb to .apk file. You can transfer this to your mobile phone, install it, and you can give all your inputs, right? So this is how we have converted our .ipynb to .apk file. So we have understood how to convert our IPYNB file to APK file by following the steps. Initially, building a machine learning model, then building API using Flask, and then we have used ngrok to get public URL for our application. And finally, we have also understood how to use Emulator in MIT App Inventor, thereby understanding how to create every input box and see the result side by side. Once the designer part is done, we have seen how to add every block in the block section to predict the result. So, you can follow the same process to build a mobile app for any machine learning model based on the number of input features. I hope you have enjoyed watching it. If you have liked our content, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel for more useful content and exciting updates. Never hesitate to raise queries in the comment section. I'll be there to guide you. Thank you.